Today, we're about to attempt what Bugatti think is impossible. This is the $6 million Bugatti Purse Sport that was crashed by Alex.
Everything was moving forward until one decision changed everything overnight. Matt Armstrong, known for turning wrecked supercars into working machines, is now facing a moment that no creator prepares for. As Bugatti and Ferrari step in with a major announcement, the situation quickly shifts from passion to pressure. What was revealed behind closed doors and how it played out on camera left him visibly shaken. But there's one key move in this story that most people overlooked, and it changes how everything unfolds next. The unexpected legal battle. What began as a simple passion project quickly morphed into an intense legal confrontation that no one saw coming. Matt Armstrong, known for rebuilding wrecked supercars with meticulous care, suddenly found himself facing resistance not from mechanical challenges, but from the highest levels of Bugatti and Ferrari. Both manufacturers took an unprecedented stance, refusing to supply parts or authorize repairs, and launching aggressive legal actions against him. Armstrong had always operated within the bounds of legality, buying salvage vehicles outright and documenting the painstaking process of restoration. Yet, despite this, Bugatti openly declared it would not provide components needed to rebuild a totaled vehicle, effectively halting his work. Ferrari escalated matters, scrutinizing his videos and alleging unauthorized use of their brand for profit. The brand's legal team reportedly pored over his entire channel, sending messages that felt more like threats than negotiations. The community was left reeling as the battle unfolded quietly at first, but soon exploded into public outrage. Fans who admired Armstrong's skill and dedication couldn't understand why manufacturers would block repair efforts on cars that were, by all legal rights, privately owned. The tension wasn't just about parts or logos, but a deeper assertion of control over how these machines and the stories around them could be shared. What made the situation even more startling was how personal it became. This wasn't a distant corporate dispute. It hit close to home for Armstrong and the thousands who had followed him along his journey. The emotional toll was evident, and for the first time, the reality of facing billion-dollar companies on your own playing field became painfully clear. Armstrong's career, reputation, and livelihood suddenly hung in the balance. The claims from Ferrari demanded the elimination of particular videos, while they requested the complete removal of all Armstrong content. The creator faced multiple complaints, which challenged his entire work on automotive projects. The potential consequences raised alarms beyond the automotive world, suggesting a chilling effect on creators who rely on sharing their passion online. The legal battle involved multiple companies, which challenged core concepts about ownership rights and creative expression and personal space documentation rights. The conflict between two luxury brands showed how their customer relationship had developed from shared ownership to their ability to control brand storytelling and brand presentation. Armstrong's case quickly became a test of where power lies in the intersection of culture, commerce, and content. Armstrong continued his fight against possible legal action, although he showed signs of emotional distress. His reaction on camera showed the toll such a fight can take on someone who built their life around transparency and open sharing. The companies wanted to know their limits because they wanted to know which actions would result in public backlash and judicial inquiries. The events that followed would demonstrate the widespread practices that occur in the automotive sector while creating new responsibilities for both content creators and car makers. The man behind the channel built his distinctive world through his channel creation, which helps understand the intense conflict. Transitioning from the heated conflict, it's important to step back and look at how Matt Armstrong rose from humble beginnings to become a powerhouse in car restoration, capturing millions of hearts along the way. Matt Armstrong's rise and work ethic. Matt Armstrong's story is not one of privilege or instant success. He began with a modest setup in a damp garage in England, armed with little more than a camera and an unrelenting passion for fixing wrecked supercars. Early on, his videos had poor lighting and rough cuts, but the authenticity and grit behind his work drew viewers in. What set him apart was a willingness to tackle what others considered dead ends, total write-offs from insurance companies. He invested countless hours and minimal resources into rebuilding cars that most experts labeled impossible to save. These projects weren't glamorous. Frames were bent, bodies shattered, and interiors looked like disaster zones. Armstrong's approach was labor-intensive and meticulous, hunting down original factory parts around the world and working through late nights to bring these machines back to life. Every restoration was a testament to skill, patience, and unyielding dedication. As his channel grew, so did the complexity of the cars he took on. His audiences were captivated not just by the rebuilds, but by the stories behind the cars, the engineering choices, the racing lineage, and the cultural significance of brands like Ferrari. Armstrong didn't just fix cars, he educated his viewers. He explained why those old design decisions mattered today, and why restoring these vehicles wasn't just mechanical work, but a preservation of automotive heritage. The public developed intense emotional connections to the show because Armstrong succeeded in his mission to unite common people with a realm that typically belongs to powerful figures. His content inspired hobbyists, mechanics, and even some who went on to find jobs in the automotive industry. The way he impacted others through his work showed his true self, which he displayed in every video that he created. His audience wasn't simply watching, they were learning, admiring, and feeling part of an exclusive world made accessible. The authentic connection between the people created a strong community, which they built through their shared love of cars and their appreciation for Armstrong's honest nature. He shared his life as a normal person through his celebrity status, showing people his complete experience of restoring things, including his failures and successes. The bridge between the two locations held potential dangers for people who attempted to cross it. The focus of Armstrong's work on major brands led to his automatic attraction of people who represented the vehicle manufacturers. His fans viewed his work as a dedication to his craft, while corporate entities defined his activities as unauthorized use of their intellectual property. The corporate sector established rules that restricted creators from expressing themselves, which resulted in conflict between both groups. People need to understand Armstrong's background, together with his community network, because this information explains why such strong opposition against their legal disputes emerged. His rise to success demonstrated how authentic storytelling, together with his professional skills, can create success, but it also showed content creators that they need to defend themselves against powerful corporate entities. This leads directly to why Ferrari, in particular, is known for fiercely protecting its image, a factor that fueled the intensity of this conflict more than almost any other car brand could. Ferrari's corporate approach to brand control. Ferrari is far more than just a car manufacturer. It explicitly brands itself as a luxury goods company, a status that informs everything from its marketing to its legal battles. This is not a casual distinction. Ferrari treats its image like a guarded fortress, protecting every detail from the prancing horse logo to the exact shade of red associated with its cars. That intense protection extends well beyond dealerships and customers to anyone who uses the brand's imagery or references. This philosophy explains why Ferrari is infamous for aggressive legal tactics against anyone they perceive as infringing on their identity. Over the past decade, Ferrari's legal team has pursued lawsuits against a wide range of targets, from custom car builders who altered Ferraris without permission to replica makers and independent merchandisers. Their claim is consistent. The car's look and branding are assets they control, even when the physical car is owned by someone else. A landmark case in 2020 underscored this approach when Ferrari won a court ruling against a customizer in Italy. The court agreed that Ferrari still controlled how the car could appear and be marketed, even after sale. This ruling sent shockwaves through the community, signaling that owning a Ferrari is closer to a long-term lease of the brand image than full ownership of the physical vehicle. This extends to content creators as well. Videos showing people repairing or modifying Ferraris can be perceived as threatening to Ferrari's carefully curated image. Even when such videos serve as free publicity or demonstrate impressive craftsmanship, the brand demands control over how its story is told. Ferrari's legal teams reportedly monitor online content closely, ready to act if they feel the brand is misrepresented or exploited for financial gain. The situation with Matt Armstrong is a striking example. Ferrari's reaction wasn't about the quality of his work, but rather the control over its brand narrative. Armstrong's videos, with millions of views and significant revenue, highlighted the tension between creative freedom and corporate interests. Ferrari's demand that he remove or alter content is not just about legal rights. It's about enforcing exclusivity, control, and ultimately power. This approach has made Ferrari a polarizing figure in the automotive world. While respected for its cars and heritage, its corporate posture alienates creators and fans who see themselves as allies in celebrating the brand. The fallout from Bugatti's legal stand still echoes loudly as Ferrari pushes these lines even further. The Bugatti precedent and its impact. Before the Ferrari conflict took center stage, a similar battle had quietly been brewing with Bugatti, another ultra-exclusive brand fiercely guarding its image. The Bugatti feud began when a creator legally bought a totaled Chiron and started posting detailed restoration videos online. Bugatti took immediate issue, arguing that these videos harmed their brand's image and refused to supply parts needed for repairs. This conflict dragged on for months, becoming a cautionary tale for anyone hoping to share car restorations publicly. That earlier fight set a powerful precedent, making clear that ownership of a luxury car does not necessarily mean full freedom to restore or document it. Bugatti leveraged its legal muscle to restrict visibility and control the narrative, insisting that even after a vehicle is sold, the brand's vision of it remains paramount. The restoration creator had to alter or remove content and suppress parts of the story simply to avoid ongoing legal battles. For many, it felt like a victory for corporate control over individual creativity. The legal struggle wasn't just a courtroom drama hidden behind closed doors. It unfolded partly on camera and in public forums. Fans and fellow creators watched closely as Bugatti dictated terms that seemed to many as unfair and restrictive. In a community built on passion and shared knowledge, this move felt threatening. It raised questions about how much influence manufacturers should have once a car is no longer on their lot. Despite the closed-door settlements, the fallout lingered in the restoration community. The Bugatti case became a whispered warning, an example of how a corporation might push boundaries until creators were silenced without ever fully explaining their actions in public. Many creators chose to keep quiet rather than risk similar legal battles. This atmosphere of caution dampened the spirit of open restoration storytelling for years. The Bugatti case and the Ferrari case share multiple similarities that all automotive observers must recognize. Both brands share a common obsession with image, exclusivity, and strict control over their intellectual property. The Bugatti setback proved that legal risks were real and could strike anyone documenting work on these rare cars. The study established the maximum extent to which manufacturers will protect their brand image through their established practice. Ferrari chose to fight against Matt Armstrong because their constant surveillance of his activities led them to battle him. Sources suggest Ferrari used Bugatti's legal fight as a trial run to test how to exert pressure without full public exposure. The Armstrong conflict grew into a planned operation, which Ferrari developed after years of research and monitoring of their target. Ferrari brought all the resources luxury companies could muster, raising the stakes higher than before. The rising conflict revealed a fundamental change because dedicated car restorers had turned their work into a hazardous area that required technical ability and legal expertise to protect their interests. The creative struggles of one artist became a demonstration of industry battles that Bugatti and Ferrari were fighting to maintain control over their stories. The situation demanded that the community face its difficult truth about who holds rights to creative content and who owns artistic work. The automotive community, in which people build connections through mutual activities, secret knowledge, and restoration of fading vehicles, received a terrifying warning from Bugatti's legal decision. The brands could eliminate all threats by silencing one artist, which resulted in total insecurity for everyone associated with their work. The weight of history and the fear of what might come next only fueled the community's response, drawing creators and fans alike into the fray to support Armstrong. Community response and growing support. When the legal threats against Matt Armstrong became public, the automotive community erupted. This wasn't just a few scattered voices, but a coordinated outpouring of support that practically took the internet by storm. Fans, fellow creators, and industry insiders quickly rallied around Armstrong, seeing the situation as far more than a legal dispute. It was a fight for the future of creative freedom in car culture. Many fellow YouTubers who usually stay clear of drama stepped forward to express solidarity. Their concerns were clear. If Ferrari could bring down someone as established and respected as Armstrong, then no creator was safe. This gave rise to a widespread feeling of vulnerability, especially among channels focusing on high-end, rare, or specialized vehicles. What had seemed like isolated corporate bullying was now recognized as a systemic threat. Viewers flooded comment sections with messages of encouragement and outrage. Petitions demanding that Ferrari drop their aggressive stance gained hundreds of thousands of signatures within days. These supporters were not just casual fans. Many were deeply invested in the brand, attending races, buying merchandise, and venerating Ferrari as a symbol of automotive passion. That they turned against the company highlighted how missteps can fracture even the most devoted followings. The backlash was fueled in part by anger at Ferrari's silence. The company's refusal to publicly address the situation only deepened frustration. Without open communication, the narrative was controlled by Armstrong and his supporters, who framed the dispute as David versus Goliath. This perception intensified the backlash as millions viewed Ferrari's legal actions not as protection of a brand, but as corporate bullying. Journalists and automotive press quickly caught wind of the controversy, publishing stories dissecting Ferrari's pattern of litigation. Research revealed a long history of similarly aggressive legal actions against anyone perceived as infringing on the brand. This broader context helped many understand that Ferrari's approach was standard operating procedure, not an isolated incident. It also raised questions about where to draw the line between legitimate brand defense and overreach. Despite the growing support, the fight remained daunting. Legal experts warned that defending against such well-funded corporate pressure could be prohibitively expensive and complex. Yet the community's response showed that public pressure could change the dynamics, pushing companies to reconsider private tactics in the spotlight. The fight had evolved beyond courtroom filings into a cultural moment about creator rights. For Armstrong, this surge of solidarity wasn't just emotional, it became a practical lifeline. It encouraged other creators to speak up and expose similar fears and experiences. The automotive world, once fragmented, found rare unity as creators, fans, and journalists joined forces against what felt like an existential threat. With the community firmly behind him, all eyes turned to what this meant for the broader car content landscape, and whether this fight might change it forever. The future of car content creation. The fallout from this battle between Matt Armstrong and automotive giants like Ferrari and Bugatti is already reshaping the world of car content creation. What used to be a space driven by passion, where enthusiasts could freely document restorations, breakdowns, and rebuilds, is now layered with caution. Creators are beginning to question every shot, every logo, every detail they include, knowing that even a well-intentioned video could trigger legal consequences. The result is a shift from freedom to hesitation, and that alone changes the tone of the entire space. Luxury brands have made it clear that ownership doesn't stop at the sale of a vehicle. Their influence stretches into how their cars are shown, discussed, and even repaired in public. This creates a difficult reality for independent creators. A video meant to celebrate craftsmanship or share knowledge can suddenly be interpreted as a misuse of branding. The line between admiration and infringement is no longer clear. It's moving, and creators are left trying to guess where it is. The dangers become more significant for smaller creators. The legal process creates two major problems because it produces both financial costs and stressful situations. People lack sufficient resources to battle against big companies, which forces them to either silence themselves or refrain from creating particular types of content. The audience gets affected because their creative work develops over time. The community response develops into a completely different narrative. The fans and creators from the community demonstrate their opposition by showing how much independent artists matter. The audience perceives creators as more than entertainers because they act as storytellers who protect car culture through their work. The events that will follow this moment will create a lasting impact on our upcoming years. The future of this space will move towards either increased control or operational stability based on how both parties handle their changes. Yet the present situation demonstrates that this situation presents the highest risks ever. Matt Armstrong's fight reveals a challenging crossroads for car culture and content creation. It's a powerful reminder that passion and ownership can clash with corporate control in surprising ways. As this battle unfolds, supporting creators who bring automotive stories to life becomes more important than ever. If you found this story insightful, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cars and culture. And don't miss the next story waiting on your screen, because it reveals another side of this shift you won't want to overlook.